New merch. What's up, Chris? Hey, you chose the right interview to come into. What's up, bro? Hey, yeah. We've been you've been real busy out there, but we definitely need to chop it up real soon. Hope all is well with you your way. You know what I'm saying? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. How's the weather out your way? It's cold. It is definitely cold. Dane, what's going on? Dane, I think you just started following me today. What part of what part are you in Florida? What city in Florida are you in? We waiting for Keith to come on. That's what's up. Did you how did you do that exam yet? I won't say exactly what it is, but did you do that exam yet, Chris? What's up, John Jr.? What's happening, Cuzzo? Appreciate you for tuning in. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. How's your son? How old is your son now? He's what, about 4 or 5 months. You definitely need to come up to Minnesota. You need to come up to Minnesota and holler at your auntie. You know what I'm saying? You ain't seen her in forever. You need to come slide through and say what's up. Okay, I'm waiting on. Let me see if I can find the dude if he's in here. Let's see. All right, I sent him an invite. Oh, there we go. Let's see. All right. I'm in St. Paul. I'm like really pretty much on the border. I'm like literally about a mile away from the Minnesota State Fair, give or take. And downtown Minneapolis is probably about 15 minutes from me. Oh, a year? Oh, okay. Well, happy early birthday. Yeah, I was born in Jacksonville, actually. I just moved back from Jacksonville. I think it was at the end of June this year. I was out there for the last three. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. All right. I sent the Keith. I sent you the request. All you gotta do is accept it or the invite. Oh, like in the comments. Oh, okay. Yeah. I know exactly where that's at. Uh, I go. I go to church kind of over in that area. A matter of fact, I drove by there probably about a week or two ago. Oh yeah, what's going on? We got the Reed family up in here. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What's going on? Yeah, it is cold. Today was about 27. All right. All right. So, like I said, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another wonderful episode of 12 Faces Sober Speaks podcast. I am your host, Kenneth L. Watson Jr. Um, I just got this hoodie today. Just came in the mail. I'm trying to get as many colors as I can so I can have this nice little photo shoot here in the next week or so with all crazy shoes and everything. But like I said, today's guest is Keith. I've been following him on Facebook, actually on my 12 Faces Sober page on Facebook. He has great content. Would love to hear his story. He's been sober. He just celebrated 2 years sobriety. Actually, I think it is 5 days ago. We'll get a confirmation as soon as he gets in. And like I said, he has great content. And what I'm trying to do with this is trying to showcase those in the sober community that look like me, talk like me, and probably went through some of the same things. Dan, you better hold on, man. We're gonna get this going in just a second. But yeah, so I'm trying my best. But I'm not gonna talk no more. But let's go ahead and bring Keith in. Let's see if it works. That look like, talk like me, and probably went through some of the same things. Dan, you better hold on, man. We're gonna get this going. Yeah. Hey, hey, Keith, how you doing, bro? But
Good, and
I'm
yourself?
not gonna talk no more. But let's go ahead and bring Keith
How
in.
you cut them?
Yeah, turn that. Yeah, see, if you can turn that down. All right. Well, welcome to 12 Faces Over Speaks podcast, man. Welcome. How's your day going so far?
Good, and yourself?
Good. Yeah, you might want to just turn it down so there's no reverb going back and forth.
Yeah, I'm trying to work it out. Okay, there we go.
All right. Well, welcome. Let's see. So we gonna get right into the interview. Let's go ahead and start with a little bit of background on yourself. You know, where you from? You know, where you're growing up. You know, things. What was going on in your family? Was alcohol present in the home? And then we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good. Super excited to be here.
Okay.
But yeah, growing up, drinking alcohol was not a big issue in my home. My father was always the type that could drink a beer and nurse it a whole night, one beer.
Mm-hmm.
My mother, she had her challenges with alcohol before she was finally able to stop drinking. Um, and I'm the youngest of four, so I saw two of my three siblings, they had their challenges with alcohol, but they're good and well now.
Mm-hmm.
So alcohol was not so much of a big issue in my household growing up, but I did see individuals closest to me who had their struggles with it.
Mm-hmm. Now, was like you said that you had family members, two siblings and your mother. Was there ever a point where you guys had that conversation or addressed some of those issues with that particular family member or members, or was that something that it just wasn't talked about in the household?
Well, it was something that growing up, it was something that my family and I, we kept to ourselves within our home and didn't talk about it to anyone else. But things always seemed to work itself out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, my mother, she was able to leave the alcohol alone, and that was wonderful. You know, that was a beautiful experience to witness that. Um, as I got, still currently, I see my oldest brother, he still has his battles with it. But you know what? I'm here to encourage him and inspire him to be the best version of himself that he can possibly be. Um, you know, and that's all I can do now. I can lead a horse to, like the old saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I do realize that sometimes even the loved ones closest to you, they're reluctant to stop drinking,
Mm-hmm.
even though they know it's bad for them. They know it's destroying their relationships and their health and the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
But the power of the addiction has control over them to where they
Mm-hmm.
feel powerful. But yeah, I'm there. I'm there to support in any which way I can to inspire my brother or whoever else I see that is struggling so that they can, get to know the best versions of themselves. Because I feel like alcohol, it definitely hinders one from becoming the very best versions of themselves.
I agree.
And that's just a matter of fact. But yeah, I started smoking weed when I was in my senior year of high school. Not because I liked it, but because I wanted to fit in with the in crowd. And so I started skipping class and going to smoke weed and then coming back on campus high.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about that is when I graduated high school, I stopped smoking weed because I felt like I didn't have to pretend anymore. See, I grew up quiet and shy, and so I just wanted to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
But and that was that. So I left weed along after high school. Now, unlike many, I actually did wait until I was 21 to start drinking alcohol. While I
Okay.
was in my 20s, I used to go to local bars with my friends to do some experiment tasting to find out which adult beverage would be my drink of choice.
Mm.
Wine tasted like what I imagined drinking shoe polish would taste like, and liquor tasted like what I imagined drinking gasoline would taste like. And
Wow.
mixed drink gave me a stomach ache for some reason. So I
Mm.
never got to drinking those types of adult beverages.
Okay.
But beer, I fell in love with beer. Now, beer also has an acquired taste,
Mm.
but it tasted a whole lot better to me than wine and liquor. And it didn't make my stomach hurt like mixed drinks.
Mm.
But despite the difference in the taste, I later found out that the damaging effects are all the same.
Mm-hmm.
I did not attend any 12-step program to stop drinking. I just became so disgusted with this weak and pathetic version of myself that depended on something so toxic to my well-being, such as alcohol.
Mm.
I had 2 stints with sobriety. The first one was about 8 years ago. I'm 44 now, so I was about 36 then. Um, I've always been into fitness, and I aspire to be that middle-aged and elderly man the younger generation will look at and say, I want to be fit like him I want to be fit like you when I get your age.
Mm-hmm.
But because of all of my beer drinking, I started to notice this beer belly. And that would definitely prevent this plan from ever coming to fruition. So the main reason I quit drinking the first time was because I wanted to get rid of the beer belly so I could get my 6-pack back. And I was doing great at first, but as time went along, I started to feel like I was depriving myself of a good time and something that would help me to cope with the challenges of life.
Mm.
So a little after 4 months, I started back drinking beer again. Anyway, a couple of years would pass and I would meet this beautiful woman that would become my wife. We had a brief courtship and we met in late 2014 and we purchased our home together on March 30th of 2015, got married on our patio on July 2nd of 2016, and welcomed our beautiful baby girl into the world on June 22nd of 2017.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you. Now, I was already a stepfather to my wife's 3 kids, but this was the very first time that I would be having a child of my own and experience all of the different phases that a child goes through as they're getting older. During this time, I was still drinking beer every day. Now, my wife knew she knew that I loved drinking beer, but she didn't know how much I really enjoyed drinking beer.
Mm.
I would get the 3-pack of 24-ounce cans of beer and put it in the refrigerator. And from there, I would drink one every other day. That way, she would think that I wasn't drinking beer every day.
Mm.
But what she didn't know is that I was purchasing the 24-pack of beers, and I was hiding those in the trunk of my car, also known as my secret stash.
Mm.
And from I would go out there and drink beer every day. I would get several cans of beer out of the trunk, and I would sit in my car just drinking them.
Mm.
Put the empty cans of beer up underneath the seats of my car.
Mm.
I would sneak some in the house and drink them and hide some up under the clothes on my side of the closet. Go to the barn out back, sneak and drink out there, then hide empty beer cans out there. And I would often get messy in covering up my beer drinking trails because my wife would run across empty beer cans in and around our home.
Mm.
So one day she came to me and said, I think you have a drinking problem. And I was like, no, I don't. because I'm just a beer drinker. And I quit drinking before, and I could quit drinking again. So no wrong. But nevertheless, I continued to sneak and drink, sneak and drink, sneak and drink. Now, during this time, I asked God to take away my desire to drink beer and to give me a whole new perspective on how I view it. And since the main reason I quit drinking the first time was to lose my beer belly, I figured I could scare myself straight for good if I were to acquire damaging effects of alcohol. So I did that. And so the day I knew I was going to stop drinking, but I had no set date on when that time would actually be. And before long, that day that I've been praying for, that my wife had been praying for, finally happened on November the 1st of 2020. I went out to the trunk of my car for what I knew would be the final time. I opened up the trunk, got a beer out, opened up the beer, took a few sips, looked at it, and walked over to the trash can and threw it away. I went and got the rest of the beer out of my trunk and threw it away as well. And it was at that very moment that I took back my power from the bottle of regrets. Yeah. And it's so amazing now because I definitely credit God for delivering me from this desire to drink. I have no desire to drink, and my perspective on it has changed so much, to the point to where when I'm inside of a grocery store and I have to go to the aisle and get something where alcohol is on, it's like at a mere glance of alcohol, I get a feeling of disgust within the pit of my stomach. And oh man, that's amazing. Just to know that how my perspective on alcohol has changed so much. And of course, I became a man obsessed to get rid of this big old beer belly that I acquired from so many years of beer drinking. So I became obsessed with running. Now, I would only run 3 days out of a week, but in 3 days, I would run 30 miles. I also ran my first solo marathon of 26.2 miles. I implemented the intermittent fasting routine into my diet. And needless to say, long story short, I got rid of that beer belly and got my six-pack back.
Okay. Now, now you said something that I wanted you to keep sharing, but it gave me a flashback in terms of hiding cans, because I know that that last I could say almost my whole entire Army career, that's what I did, especially when I was married. Like I had, like you said, I would, hide them underneath the bed, in between the mattresses. I would, same thing, stash them in the car, up underneath the seat. Sometimes would even forget that I had empty containers in here and I'm riding around with them in the car. Like I could easily get taken down for this. You know what I'm saying? Because of just that last time I had a drink in the car, like it's so that definitely hit a nerve when you said that. Now, what you mentioned something, challenges in life. So what were some of the challenges that you faced, like right before, right before you had decided to ultimately give it up?
Well, challenges as far as being, being a new father,
Okay.
all of the things that comes along with that, and raising a family. Of course, bills is always in the play. But those I didn't really have many issues. I just love drinking beer. And I was like, I prioritized it over other things. As I would make, like in a busy weekend that my family and I would know we would have a busy weekend ahead of us. I would think about the times where I would possibly be able to sneak a beer. I just had to plan it out, when can I do it? When,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it was like I would prioritize drinking beer over everything else, and it's crazy. But like I said, no big issues
Mm-hmm.
with me to prioritize beer over everything else. It was just my love for beer.
Okay. And then now you had mentioned that you had quit once before that.
Right.
Now, were there any other times where you felt like, okay, yeah, I probably should either cut back or just give it up altogether? Or was that, when you did, you gave it up, was that like just, okay, I'm gonna give it up and then that's it? Or was it, because like in my case, I know that I probably quit at least like 10 or 15 times, and I was just in a short span of like maybe 2 or 3 years. So,
Yeah.
so how was that for you?
Well, what made me realize, okay, that I may have an issue is that when I would finish drinking all of the beer and stuff like that, and I would, sneak out to my car
Hmm.
and get a trash bag and go clear out all the empty beer cans in my car and put it into the garbage can, into the trash bag. And I was like, man, this is a lot of empty beer cans right here.
Mm,
I think we really got a problem.
mm,
And just cleaning out all of the empty beer cans in my vehicle itself helped me to realize it. Man, yeah, I need to make some changes. And the crazy thing about it is your loved ones, they can they can know that you have an issue,
mhm,
and you see it in their faces and the words that they're expressing to you. They can have an intervention for you and all of that good stuff. You can go to a 30-day treatment and all of that stuff,
mhm,
but none of it will work unless you are ready to make it work. You are ready to put in the work to rid yourself of the bottle of regrets for good.
mm. Yeah,
So that's
that's the realest thing that can, that a person can say is that, because I actually spoke with a brother this past weekend, on, well, actually Friday, and he said the same thing. He was like, I want to quit. I want to quit. And I said, the only person that's going to be able to do that is you. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you how life has been now, almost 6 years of being sober. But what it took for me to get to that 6 years, it was that challenge. There was a lot of days that I woke up and was like, okay, man, you got, scars, and your body is aching, can't figure out, how you failed or whatever. But then that next day I was like, okay, I'm ready to drink again. Like, regardless, like you said, a family function or something, I was ready to drink. Or like you said, okay, well, they don't know that I'm supposed to, that I quit. So let me, drink before I go to that location. You know what I mean? But that's, I don't know. I guess my question to you is that, was it more of like embarrassment in terms of like knowing that your family knew, okay, yeah, you got this problem, but you didn't want to necessarily address it?
Yeah, it was embarrassment. I knew that, I figured that, okay, if I was like on this TV show
Hmm.
and they had like this video of me sneaking out to my car every time to go sneak and drink some beer, I caught a feeling of how I would actually feel if I were to witness that myself, and I saw myself looking so pathetic just going out to my car, popping the trunk, getting some beers, and sitting in my vehicle to drink. I visualized that as if I were like on a TV show.
Hmm.
And that did give me a feeling of embarrassment, a feeling of disgust, and it really inspired me to do away with alcohol.
Hmm.
Because, and man, that would be so embarrassing
Hmm.
if that were actually a TV show or something, and it was shown. to myself and to my family and everything, and we would all be talking about it. So yeah, just the mere fact of visualizing something like that, it definitely lit a fire underneath my behind, up under my behind, for me to make some changes for the better. And I'm so grateful I did. Before I was so convinced that I needed to have beer in my life, but now it's like I can imagine was I ever so convinced that it was good for me
Mm,
when it was clearly it wasn't. It's
mm,
crazy. Clearly it was a bad thing. I was thinking about earlier in the week, well, last week, there was this fashion style, where you would roll one pant leg up and leave the other one down back in the mid 90s or something.
mhm,
LL, he wore his pants like that on that show called In the House. I was
mhm,
thinking, wow, I actually walked around like that. One pant leg up, the other one down. And yet I thought that was cool. And, in 2 years into my sobriety, I see how I was convinced that I needed to drink beer to have a good time, go out and about and dance and all that stuff. I needed to drink in order to have a good time.
mm,
But I'm so far from that. And it's like, wow, I can't believe that I once believed that I needed to drink alcohol to have a good time and enjoy myself, because I'm so far from that now. Mentally, I'm so far from that. And, you know, like I said in my videos, I love going out and just having a good time, showing others that it is possible to enjoy life sober. I know, and I know a lot of, sometimes people may look at me and see me out there on the dance floor having a good time and all that good stuff, and they probably say to amongst each other that he's got to be drunk or something like that. But no, I'm not drunk. I'm not on drugs. I'm sober and I'm living my best life, and I'm so grateful that I was able to realize that. And I want others to realize that they're capable of putting down the bottle of alcohol as well, and working on creating themselves and becoming the best versions of themselves. Now, I believe when it comes to getting sober, it does require that you find at least an ounce of self-love and respect for yourself to
mm.
want to.
That's
Uh,
good.
because if you're unable to find an ounce of self-love, it's going to be a hard road, a long road, and it would be very challenging for you to convince yourself that you can live a life without alcohol.
Mm. Now,
But
what was it like taking your power back and no longer needing that beer?
felt liberating. I felt liberated, man. It's like um, also when I stopped drinking, I was left. When I was drinking, I was able to escape my thoughts, my fearful thoughts. But when I stopped drinking, it's like I was there with my thoughts, and I was there to analyze them and face them. And so I thought it would be a great idea for me to develop some mental toughness.
Mm,
And so I started doing some things that would help me to do just that. I started taking cold showers. I got into public speaking, and I faced my fear of heights and the water by learning how to swim.
mm,
And just, I'm creating, working, doing things that will help me to create the best versions of myself. So many people, they drink alcohol because they're afraid to be left alone with their thoughts.
mm.
And, and that same thing applied to me. But, I say, you know what? I'm going to be courageous, and I'm going to figure the thing out and feel the fear and do it anyway. That's because that's the only way that I can become the very best version of Keith that I can possibly be.
Okay. Hold on one second. I'm coming. My brother Chris came in from Hawaii. Um, now, now, how is it? How are you received from friends and family now that they see you in a different light, where you're not outside sneaking to get that beer, going to the trunk or your other stash spots? How is it now, knowing that they ain't got to see that version of you anymore?
Yeah, it's well received. Everybody loves it. Relationships have definitely improved. Relationships will definitely improve if you quit drinking. If you're having an issue with something in your marriage and you think that you are stressed out because you're having so many issues in your marriage, but little do you know that your drinking is increasing those issues in your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to get to the point of realizing this and say, okay, you know what? I got to stop this madness, whatever it takes. I got to do it, not just for my loved ones, but for myself, most important. So yeah, it's been well received. Everybody enjoys the brand new Keith.
That's superb. Now
Yeah.
you had made a statement that was I thought was rather funny, because I don't think that prior to our generation, because I'm only a year younger than you, but I would say that the generation before us and the generation before us didn't have these platforms as we do today. But you said, and this is not your complete quote, but I'm just going to use a portion of it. It said um, how people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s are still drinking as if they're like youngsters.
Yeah.
And so, and you mentioned it too. You were saying about individuals not really caring about their health issues that may arise from drinking for that extended period of time. And so, I guess for me is to ask is, for us now, we're trying to break those generational curses, regardless of if we've had the issues with the drinking, just like previous generations may have.
Right.
We're trying to, for one, speak out loud or speak against those, that excess in drinking or abusing it and stuff like that. So I guess to me is that I agree with you 100% that this older generation is still, partying as if they still youngsters, when they should be just enjoying life and not punishing their bodies.
Yeah. Because it's like the foods that you used to be able to eat when you were in your 20s, it affects your body differently. It
Mm-hmm.
affects you differently now. You used to be able to eat anything you wanted to without gaining weight. But now, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, it's a different, complete story now. You
Yeah.
eat the same things you used to eat then, you will definitely pick up some pounds.
Most
and
definitely.
Yeah, and it should be obvious for us to see this, but a lot of us are in denial and still living in that fairy tale land, thinking that we're spring chickens. But
Yeah.
we're not. We've come to terms that we're not spring chickens anymore. Your body don't recover and bounce back like it used to when we were in our 20s and everything. Your metabolism slows down. Man, it seems like it was just last year that I was going to the mirror and running my fingers across my face, looking to see if I see any peach fuzz.
Mm.
Now it's like I go to the mirror and I see all these gray hairs, and that alone, the mere fact that I see gray hairs on my face lets me know that my body ain't what it was when I was 20.
Mm.
So if you are drinking alcohol like you always have, what makes you think that you're not going to develop some health issues and marital issues and any other type of issues in your life? What makes you think that you are invincible, that you are still invincible, have this invincible mindset like you did when you were in your 20s?
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. I agree, especially the grays. I'm like, man, this is interesting. But now alcohol is around us. Once I'm done with this interview, football is on, and every time they go to commercial, if not every other commercial, is alcohol.
Right.
With that, it's music, family functions, work functions. That's just to name a few of how much alcohol is present in day-to-day living. And so I guess for me, like, how is it how is it now, like, seeing that, like, you see these advertisements for alcohol, or like you said, you go down an aisle. Like for me, in some grocery stores out here in Minnesota, like a lot of them are alcohol on both aisles. If I see that, I just avoid that aisle totally, because I know I don't need anything out of that aisle. And even if I did,
Right.
I'll go find it at a different grocery store. And
Mhm.
so I guess that's for you. Is it how is it, like, transitioning and into these last 2 years of sobriety, and you're still seeing it. You're going out to public events. Sometimes when you go to a restaurant, the first thing they ask you, or they come with that bottle of wine, and they are, oh, this is our house favorite or whatever. So how has that been for you?
It's actually honestly, it's been a breeze. I have no issues when it comes to saying no. You know what? I don't drink, but you can get me a cup of water, a mug of hot water, with lemon, and I drink with that, and I'm content. It's like I stopped drinking soda years ago.
Mhm.
So it's like now that I stopped drinking alcohol, alcohol is like soda. I could be anywhere out and about, and I could come across some soda, or I could go get a soda for a family member and not have a second thought about drinking it myself. It's the same way with alcohol for me now. It's like just the thought just isn't there. So I'm not affected by it in any way. I have, like I said, I have a whole new perspective on how I view it. I see it as toxic, and whereas beforehand I was convinced that it was something that I needed, but
Mhm.
now I'm convinced that it's something that I absolutely do not need in my life.
Mhm.
Uh, so it's I'm just grateful that I am able to be at this point in my life. And when I go out and I see other people drinking and everything, it really helps me to see, when they start stumbling over the words, or stumbling while they're out and walking, or talking slow or something like that. It's like wow, oh my God, it's amazing that so many of us actually think that that is cool. A lot of people say, like before they go off, leave work or so, they say, I'm gonna get fucked up tonight. I'm gonna get fucked up. It's like it's amazing that we, from where I am mentally at now, it's amazing that so many of us have this view. Why do we continue to do this to ourselves and make ourselves become someone else's problem? You
Mhm.
know, your loved ones are going to have to help you up, or if you are too drunk to get up or walk or whatever, or something like that. It's so unfortunate that so many of us feel like, we need to do that to ourselves. Anytime someone is experiencing a stressful day or something, they say, I could really use a drink. But
Mhm.
the thing is, with drinking, that worsens matters. It doesn't help matters. Alcohol never has and never will fix a damn thing. And
Right.
I'm convinced at that now, of knowing that. And so, yeah, like I said, I don't have any issues with going out and about, and being in an environment where there is alcohol. Like I said, it's like soda. It's like soda to me. I can leave soda. I can be right in front of soda and not drink it. 95% of the time, I drink water anyway.
Mhm.
So, um, soda or alcohol is not an issue for me. Like I said, I'm just grateful that I have this brand new perspective and view on alcohol.
Mhm.
So,
Now, this is definitely a first on the podcast, but I thought about it watching one of your videos. What has been one of your best responses to someone when they ask you why you don't drink?
uh, well, why why I do it, and they ask me why I don't drink, I would tell them because I'm too awesome to drink.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's not a wrong answer. I was just curious because it happened to me when I was like early in sobriety. Like I play around with DJing, but when I early in sobriety, I was doing it more. But I was DJing at the mayor's house up in St. Cloud, where I got my master's and my bachelor's degree. But so I'm at the house, the mayor comes out, he's double fisted. He was like, Kenny, do you want one? And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't drink. And he was like, looked at me. I said, yeah, man, I'm in recovery. I said, yeah, it would be in a different life. I probably would have accepted it. But this life I currently have, I'm just not accepted it. And it was almost like he was offended because I'm sure that
Yeah.
primarily the people, when they come over there to functions like that, yeah, they want to rub elbows and drink with them. But I just chose not to, Now,
Yeah.
now let me ask you this. We getting close to the end, but now, as I mentioned a few questions prior to this, you know, it seems at least I don't know. You sound like you're from the South somewhere. You got a heavy Southern accent, and I know. I mean, I grew up in San Diego in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, and or the next town over was, heavily, black populated. We seen a lot of liquor stores on like every corner or every other corner. If not, it might be two, if not three on just one little block right there. And so I don't know if it's, and I don't want to say it, but I can say it, I'm not offending any cultural group. So the, in terms of it being like almost like a target in the black and brown community more than it is in some of these suburbs.
Right, right.
You might be lucky to see one, and they don't even call it a liquor store. They call it a package house or something. Like, instead of having that conversation, as you said, we getting off work about to go get drunk. Why can't we have that same conversation in the black and brown community of alcohol prevention, drug prevention? Because that's just as important as having that let's go get messed up tonight. You know what I'm saying? Because of what the ramifications of what happens when you get behind the wheel and going and get intoxicated, and the possibility of a long list of things happening to you once you're under the influence. So I guess my question is like, when is it the right time to truly have that conversation?
I believe any moment is the right time to have that conversation. We're conditioned as a society into thinking that drinking is cool. I mean, you hear it in the music, you see it on TV shows, even shows like detective shows, or what's the name of that show that was out? The church show. I forgot the name of it. But you would even have the deacons. They would be drinking after service and stuff like that. And it's like, man, this is putting the church in a bad light and everything. But and so it's like we're conditioned to believe that it's normal to drink alcohol, and it conditioned into believing that it's cool. The thing is, sometimes in life I feel like you have to unlearn what you have learned over the years, because it has been that very thing that has held you back for so long in life. And it just has to take for a lot of others to realize that, okay, yeah, now I see how we became conditioned into believing that drinking and drugging and all this other stuff was cool. But now it's time for us to shed the light and talk about the benefits of not drinking and not drugging, how your relationships improve, how your health improves, how your whole being, your whole well-being in general improves. That's something that should definitely be talked about, because I know for sure if it was, crime rate would go down, and there would be a lot of improvements in society as a whole. If there was more people out there, talking about the benefits of living a sober life, sober lifestyle. So yeah, I think anytime is the right time. We must do the work ourselves to normalize sobriety in today's society. Now, definitely outnumbered because everywhere you go, you see signs of alcohol, for beer and brands and commercials on TV and stuff like that. You're conditioned into believing that you got to have some alcohol at a football game, if you're out and about at a social event or something. You're conditioned to believing it's normal. It's forced on us, and so many of us become conditioned into believing the lie that we need to have alcohol at these events and types of situations. But the truth is, you don't. You don't need booze. You need to be there for yourself to see that alcohol never has and never will fix a damn thing. And
Right.
that's the bottom line.
It enhances the problems times 10. It definitely does. Now, usually, okay. How has it been for you navigating through the sober community? You have a sober page. You get your dance on, might I mention, on your page. So how has it been for you just, putting out the content, what's the word? Networking through the sober community. How has it been for you?
I'm still growing my page, and uh, I, I have a saying that I may not inspire a lot of individuals, but all I need to inspire is at least one, and that's all. I'm still continuing to try and grow my social media outlets, Facebook, now Instagram, and YouTube as well. Also on TikTok. So I'm just spreading my individual love and admiration for the sober life, and in hopes that I will inspire others to live a purpose-filled, alcohol-free life. So it's still, I'm still working on growing my social media outlets, but it'll happen in due time. So
Right. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. It's I've been truly doing at least a podcast, probably give or take a little over a year. But to me, it's not even really about the views. It's about those who really need to hear it. Hear hear guests like yourself, share your story, and get people involved and stuff like that. It's not, I'm content, with getting a whole bunch of views. I just want to reach a group of people that's going to understand and know, like, okay, life is much better once you make those necessary changes to benefit yourself in the long run. And that's why, like I said, I try my best to reach out and mentor those youngsters that's in their 20s. I tell them, hey, have fun, enjoy it, but just know that when you get into your late 30s and your 40s, your body is going to tell you, okay, you can't keep doing that. Because if you do, this is what are the reasons. Like I said, I had a lot of health issues when I was drinking. So I know that, like, okay, it's just not for me no more. And I drank with the best, if not drank a whole lot more than I should have. But I know that life is better today than it was 6 years ago when I still had that poison in my system.
oh yeah, it's definitely poison.
Yes, indeed. Now, I usually close it with two quotes. I found two quotes that you had that stood out to me. And the first one is, sobriety helped me realize I didn't need to drink to fit in because I was born to stand out.
Right, right. When you come to this realization, it's like, wow, I'm pretty daggone awesome the way I am, And it's unbelievable that I used to think that I needed to drink alcohol to get in with the in crowd and be cool and all that stuff. I was already cool. I just
Mm.
had to come to that realization and embrace my inner awesomeness. And that's it. It's like a no-brainer now. It's like, duh, you know, um, whether someone like you or not, it's like, as long as you like yourself, as long as you love yourself, that's all that matters. You
Mm.
know, you don't need no drink no poison to feel good about yourself. Feel
Yeah,
good about yourself because you're the only you that there is and that there will ever be. You know.
big facts, big facts. And the second one, living a purpose-filled, alcohol-free life is all about challenging yourself to do better so you can make your world better.
Yes, a lot of people are afraid to challenge themselves, but only challenge causes growth. Only challenge will test your skills and make you better.
Mm.
A lot of people are afraid to experience failure because they think it's like a death sentence and not. But failure is not a death sentence. Failure is a teacher, actually. You
Mm.
can learn and grow from it. But the only person that will prevent you from growing is that person you see in the mirror each and every day of your life. You. And so, you know, a lot of us has to do the work within ourselves to get to know ourselves and realize how awesome we truly are. Some of us need to start looking in the mirror on a daily basis and telling ourselves that, I love you. You're pretty awesome. You one heck of a dude. Uh, I love you so much. You're an awesome guy. I think a lot of people could benefit from journaling. Um, do some therapy. That could definitely help you out. It has helped me out, I believe therapy is beneficial for any and everyone.
Mm.
It- and but it gets a kind of a bad rep in the in some communities.
Hmm.
But little because a lot of us are afraid to swallow our pride and go seek help, but it's so beneficial.
Mm.
Uh, a lot of us are afraid to challenge ourselves, to change our eating habits, uh, to work out, and afraid of coming out of our comfort zones. So
Mm.
many of us are comfortable in our comfort zones, but you don't grow in your comfort zone. You never have, and you never will. The only way you are going to grow into becoming the very best version of yourself is when you step out of your comfort zone, and that's it. Even if you have to maybe be full of anxiety about whatever it is that you're facing, but once you face it and overcome it, it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, with my heights, uh, my family and I have season passes at this amusement park called Carowinds, and when we started going there, I knew there would be a great opportunity for me to face and overcome my fear of heights by getting on certain roller coasters and everything. And so it was hard for me,
Mm.
you know, especially in those long lines where you have to wait. And then the longer you have to wait, the more your anxiety builds up and the more fearful thoughts of dying possibly on a roller coaster pops up in your head. But I had to feel those fearful thoughts and do it anyway.
Mm.
And after I get on these roller coasters, that takes me high up in the air and get off of it when the ride is finally over. Oh man, it's such a liberating experience. It's like because I faced and overcame one of my many fears, my fear of heights. I
Mm.
did it. It feels so great. It's like I did it. It's a liberating experience. It's an awesome experience. And the same thing can go for individuals who decide that they're going to stop drinking alcohol. You
Mm.
can experience that liberated feeling yourself once you finally make the decision to leave alcohol alone because it never has and never will fix a damn thing. I can't stress that point enough.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. And
Yeah,
yeah, and when you said Carowinds, that's in Charlotte, right?
right. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, because I used to be stationed at Fort Bragg, and
Yeah.
I think I stayed at like a hotel near, but I didn't end up actually going, but I'm familiar with it. I've partied in Charlotte, but I know I'm familiar with Carowinds for sure. Now, before we end it, what message would you like to pass on to those who are sober curious and or are early in sobriety?
Okay. I would say that life is too short to sit around and waste it by drinking poison. You owe it to yourselves to discover and become the very best versions of yourselves, because that's the bottom line. You owe it to yourself. We only get one life, and it's a must that we take a faith. We challenge ourselves to become better and not live bitter. So many of us choose to live a defeated life, always waking up on the wrong side of the bed, so to speak, blaming everyone, everything about what's going on wrong in our lives. But the only person so many of us don't blame is ourselves. We have to start holding ourselves accountable. And once we start holding ourselves accountable, then we will realize that, okay, I've been allowing others so much to control my energy. Well, I need to take back my power and control my own energy and start working on creating a better me so I can do better and be better and make my world better. You owe it to yourself to become the very best versions of yourself. And that's it, period.
Keith, man, I appreciate you, brother. You came on and definitely inspired me. I don't know about doing heights. I'm scared of heights. I'll fly an airplane. Not fly one, but I'll ride in the back of a plane or something. But that's just probably as far as it goes, is testing the heights portion of it. But I just wanted to say definitely thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story. I really do greatly appreciate it. Like I said, I know for sure that just within our conversation tonight, for sure will help at least one person, if not more. I'm not going to say if not, it will help more than just one. You know what I'm saying? One, because it's not every day you go see two black men talking about sobriety. And I mean that, and I stand on that to the fullest. And that's what I'm trying to do is trying to bring more color to this sober community and let the sober community know that we exist and we recover out loud just like everybody else, and we have fun just like everybody else. And and like I said, I'm thankful, man. I don't know if you got anything for me, but like I said, man, I truly appreciate you coming on tonight. Really do.
No problem at all. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I'm grateful.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the comments. I really do appreciate it. 12 Phases Sober Speaks podcast has another one tomorrow. So look out for that tomorrow. Actually, that's lunchtime. So be on the lookout for that one, as well as I have a couple more the rest of the week. One last thing. If you are a veteran on Friday, I need 4 guests. I already have 2, so I need 4 guests in total. I want you guys to come on, share your story. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in recovery. It could just be how life has been post-military. So I'm showing love from one veteran to the next. So like I said, if you know anybody, tag them, let them know. I'm doing this. I'm trying to do at least between 4 to 6 interviews that particular day. Show love to the veterans. And like I said, once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to 12 Faces Sober Speaks podcast. Thanks again, Keith. Thanks for everybody who stuck through and listened to everything. And like I said, Keith, I want you to keep going, keep pushing, keep making great content. And like I said, I'll definitely be in contact with you in the near future on some future projects that I'm trying to work on.
Cool. What's up, Dane?
All right, now y'all have a good night. This is 12 Faces Sober.
All right, now.